Thomas had worked the night shift at the hospital long enough to know its rhythm. The day staff left by 11. Doctors, nurses, cleaners, one by one, their footsteps faded, their voices swallowed by the corridors. By midnight, the building assigned to Thomas became something else entirely. Silent, still, too clean to feel safe. The emergency department stayed open all night, but it was in a separate building across the compound. This one, the diagnostic wing, held advanced machines, sealed labs, and floors that were never supposed to be accessed after hours. Thomas's job was simple: walk the corridors, check the locks, make sure nothing moved that shouldn't. Most nights, nothing did. That night started the same way. He sat near the entrance desk, earbuds in, low music playing, just loud enough to break the silence, not enough to drown it. Every hour, he walked the building. Every hour, the same empty halls stared back at him. Until he saw it. A movement, brief, on the upper floor. The floor with the machines. Thomas pulled one earbud out and stared upward, his body already tense. The lights on that floor were supposed to be off. No staff, no access, yet something had moved. He didn't hesitate. He stood, unclipped the safety strap on his gun, and headed for the elevators. The elevator doors slid open with a soft chime, and Thomas stepped inside, pressing the button for the restricted floor. The doors closed, the lift began to rise. At first, everything felt normal, the familiar hum, the gentle vibration beneath his boots. Thomas checked his watch. 5 seconds passed, then 10. The elevator didn't slow. It kept going. Thomas frowned and glanced at the digital display above the doors. Blank. No floor number, no indicator. He pressed another button. Nothing. A faint pressure settled in his chest as the lift continued upward, longer than it ever should have. This building wasn't tall enough for this. Thomas reached for the emergency stop. The elevator jolted, then stopped. The silence that followed felt wrong, thicker than before. He waited for the doors to open. They didn't. The lights flickered once, twice, then the elevator lurched again. No, stop. It started moving once more, faster this time, the hum rising into something sharper, almost strained. And then, the lights went out. Total darkness. Thomas swore under his breath and reached for his flashlight. Nothing. He pulled out his phone. Dead. The screen didn't even flicker. His pulse hammered as the elevator slowed and came to a stop. A soft sound followed. The doors began to open. Cold air rushed in, brushing against his face, his ears, his neck, far colder than any air-conditioned hallway should be. Thomas raised his gun instinctively, aiming into the darkness beyond the doors. Hospital security, identify yourself. No answer, just space. He couldn't see the floor clearly, but he could feel it, open, wide, wrong. The air carried a faint metallic smell mixed with something older, stagnant. Then, slowly, the lights came back on. Thomas froze. He wasn't on any floor he recognized. The hallway was long and narrow, the walls lined with closed doors, each marked with faded labels that didn't match any department. No machines, no signage he'd ever seen, and one door near the end stood open. Someone had opened it. He stepped out of the elevator carefully, gun raised, every nerve screaming. The floor was spotless. No footprints, no signs of recent activity. He approached the open door. The room beyond was untouched. A small examination room. Clean bed, perfectly aligned instruments. No dust, no disturbance, no person. Yet the door had been closed, locked. Thomas knew that. He backed away slowly. Behind him, the elevator doors slid shut on their own. The lights flickered again. This time, Thomas noticed something that made his stomach drop. The labels on the doors. They weren't room numbers. They were names.
patient names. Every single one matched people who had died in the hospital over the past decade. And at the very end of the hall, one last door, with a name that wasn't faded, a name that was still clear. Thomas Hale. Before he could react, the lights cut out again. The elevator chimed behind him. When the lights returned, the hallway was gone. The elevator doors stood open. Thomas stumbled inside without thinking. The doors closed. The lift descended normally this time. When it stopped, it was the ground floor. The lobby looked the same, quiet, empty, as if nothing had happened. Thomas didn't report the incident. He finished his shift in silence. The next morning, he checked the building plans. There was no record of that floor, no documentation, no access logs. But the security footage from the elevator? It showed the doors opening and someone stepping out. Not Thomas, something else, something that never came back. Thomas never took the elevator again. And every night, when the building fell silent, the display above the elevator doors flickered, showing the floor that didn't exist.
That story was about a hospital, a place that stayed active even at night. Doctors, lights, voices. But this one is different. This story isn't about a hospital at all. It is about a small clinic, old, distant, and almost forgotten. Dr. Arun owned the clinic. Years ago, people trusted it. Now, no one came anymore. A new medical center had opened closer to the village, leaving this small building alone at the edge of a dirt road, surrounded by silence and trees. That night, Arun hadn't planned to return. But when he reached home and searched his pockets, his stomach dropped. His house keys were missing. He remembered leaving them on his desk at the clinic. It was past midnight when he drove back. The road felt longer than usual. Streetlights vanished. The radio went silent. Only his headlights cut through the darkness. When the clinic appeared, it looked unchanged. Dark, empty, still. Too still. Inside, the air smelled old and damp. The lights flickered before staying on. His footsteps echoed as he walked toward his office. Then he stopped. The examination room door was open. He was certain he had closed it. He checked inside. Nothing was disturbed. Shaking off the feeling, he reached his office. The keys were exactly where he remembered. He picked them up and turned to leave. That's when he heard movement behind him, very faint. He turned. Nothing. But the sense of being watched didn't fade.